Let us join our hearts together in prayer. Lord, may the words of my mouth, meditations in all of our hearts, be acceptable in thy sight, O God, our rock, our strength, and our Redeemer. Amen. Our first scripture passage today is actually going to be the Corinthians passage from 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 1 through 9. Listen now as God speaks to us through God's word. And so, brothers and sisters, I could not speak to you as spiritual people, but rather as people of the flesh, as infants in Christ. I fed you with milk, not solid food, for you were not ready for the solid food. Even now you are still not ready, for you are still of the flesh. For as long as there is jealousy and quarreling among you, you are not of the flesh. You are not of the flesh, and behaving according to human inclinations. For when one says, I belong to Paul, and another, I belong to Apollos, are you not merely human? What then is Apollos? What is Paul? Servants through whom you came to believe, as the Lord assigned to each. I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth. So neither the one who plants nor the one who waters is anything, but only God who gives the growth. The one who plants and the one who waters have a common purpose, and each will receive wages according to the labor of each. For we are God's servants, working together. You are God's field, God's building. May this God's word speak to our hearts, our minds, and our spirits. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Paul is a traveling man. We know that he did not gather a whole lot of moss. We know his story, his background, how he used to be the great persecutor of the church, and then on the road to Damascus, he had this transforming experience with the vision of Jesus, and there's that change, not just in who he was, but also in his name. He was no longer Saul, he was Paul, and his mission was a very distinct one, very purposeful. It was to plant churches. Paul was not one to grow churches. Paul was not one to be in one place for 30 years to retire to get a gold watch. Paul went from place to place to place, and he was known as the one who planted these seeds. He was tilling up the rough soil in strange places and sowing the seed of Jesus Christ crucified. But he was never in one place for more than a couple of years. And once a church started to build, once he achieved some kind of success, at least as the world would say, he left and he went off someplace else, got into a boat, got into some kind of traveling caravan, and oftentimes there was peril and there was danger in these trips. And when he left, in his absence, the church is still needed to grow. And so people like Apollos came and other people came and they proclaimed the good news to help people to grow. But what was happening in the church in Corinth was a faction. Because some folks were saying, I belong to Paul. I'm part of Paul's church. Others were saying, I'm with Apollos. I'm with Apollos' church. Others said, well, I'm with Peter, and I'm with Peter's church. And still others said, I'm with Jesus. And Paul was saying, you're still babies. You're still infants. Because when you are an infant, when you are a young child, you need milk. You cannot eat solid food. And so I gave you milk. But you're consistently staying in the pattern of being an infant when you give in to these factional divisions. And he says that there's the spirit of what you need to work for, but you are still stuck in the flesh. This is what Paul talks about throughout all of his letters, or most of his letters, about these two tensions. There is the life in the flesh, which is the one that is cause and effect. It's the one that speaks ill of other people. It's the one that's filled with jealousy and envy and strife. And on the other side, there is the life in the spirit. That is the spirit of forgiveness. That is the turning the other cheek. It's a bigger world. It's a world that God intends. But Paul is saying that these factions do not further the faith. They just cause grief within the body of Christ. This was 2,000 years ago Paul wrote these words. And I think sometimes, well, I think one of the great things about digest, but sometimes I think we're still stuck at the milk stage. Still stuck week after week coming back because we compartmentalize our faith thinking, well, Sunday is enough. Sunday is enough. We go off and we live our life doing things that we would not want to see the light of day, especially on a Sunday morning. I think more than anything else in our world, people want to belong. Want to belong to something that is bigger than themselves. And what the church oftentimes confuses that with is membership roles or rule following, rule keeping. But Paul says we are God's servants. We are working together. Some have a ministry of planting. Some have a ministry of watering. Some have a ministry of harvesting. But we all are workers in God's field. We are all part of God's building. And so as we continue in our study of Matthew chapter 5, the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus speaks specifically to this. And what are the divisions that we allow to come between us? What are the things that divide us? In Matthew 5, verses 21 through 37, Jesus says, "You have heard it was said to those of ancient times, 'You shall not murder, and whoever murders shall be liable to judgment.' But I say to you, if you are angry with a brother or sister, you are liable to judgment. And if you insult a brother or sister, you will be liable to the council. And if you say, 'You fool,' you will be liable to the hell of fire. So when you are offering your gift at the altar, if you remember a brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother or sister, and then come and offer your gift. Come to terms quickly with your accuser while you're on the way to court with him, or your accuser may hand you over to the judge, and the judge over to the guard, and you will be thrown into prison. Truly, I tell you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penny. You have heard it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I say to you, everyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than for your whole body to go into hell. It was also said, 'Whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce.' But I say to you that anyone who divorces his wife, except on the grounds of unchastity, causes her to commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Again, you have heard it was said to those of ancient times, 'You shall not swear falsely, but carry out the vows you have made to the Lord.' But I say to you, do not swear at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Let your word be yes, yes, and no, no. Anything more than this comes from the evil one. May this God's word speak to our hearts, our minds, our spirits. This too is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. I admit that the sermon title was a little bit for the shock value of it. Posted online, put it in the bulletin, but I thought this was probably the best way to describe this part of Matthew chapter 5. There's cussing, and there's fussing, and there are a few swear words. The law is good. Jesus says the law is good. It's even written in stone, but it is not static. And so Jesus, what he's doing here in Matthew chapter 5, he is reimagining Moses. He's climbing up on top of the mountain just as Moses descended from the mountain with the 10 commandments. But what Jesus is doing is he's changing the whole narrative. He's not trying to abolish the law. He's not saying, get away with murder, get away with adultery, get away with swearing falsely, bearing false witness, or having a covetous nature. Instead, he's saying, I've come to fulfill it, to give it a much more full meaning. It's much more difficult. Because we might go to the Ten Commandments. We might go off and say, well, I've been good on that this week. No murder this week. I'm good with God. Didn't commit adultery this week. God and I are tight. But what Jesus is saying is like you're so tied into what is etched in stone that you have missed what should be written on the flesh of your heart and your spirit. And so what Jesus does, he reinterprets this. He says, you have heard it said, but I say to you. Cussing. You have heard it said before, do not commit murder. But I say to you, anyone who curses a brother or sister is in trouble. Anyone who says, you fool. Anyone who does any of these things, I like the King James version of this. It says, anyone who says raka. Does anyone know what raka is translated into? It's literally blockhead. Anybody calls somebody, it's a Charlie Brown insult. It's from the Sunday Funnies. If you even say raka or blockhead, you're liable to judgments. We are all guilty. And what has happened in our world is that we don't have a calendar on our brain anymore. A lot of the time, there's no calendar between what goes in our brain so quickly and what comes through our mouth so fast. There's no filtering that goes on. It goes on as we talk sideways about people. It goes on as we say the most awful things about someone else. Somebody else who's in a different faction than we are on the internet, on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever. We're all guilty. But all these things, they stem from anger. Jesus talks about anger. And the thing about anger is, all the 7 deadly sins, anger, wrath, it's the most fun. It's the most fun, right? Because when we're angry, we get warmed up, we get built up. It consumes us. When I was little, I would shout to my mom, I don't call you every Sunday, Mom, but I do most. And Mom would always correct me. I'd say, I'm so mad. And do you remember what you said? Dogs get mad. People get angry. But we get that whole attitude of, I'm mad as heck and I'm not going to take it anymore. And I'm going to let you have it. We're in violation of what Jesus is talking about here. Jesus says earlier, you are the light of the world, but if you let this anger, that is a fire that cannot be quenched within us. We will burn ourselves up from the inside. And you might even ask, didn't Jesus get angry? Didn't Paul get angry? If you ever go and read Paul's letter to the church in the Galatians, you'll know Paul is mad. Paul's angry at the Galatians. Jesus got mad when he went into the temple courts. He saw them taking a place of worship for God and turning it into a den of thieves, a place where they exchange money. It's all right at times to get angry and have that righteous indignation. However, it matters to God what we do with it. It matters completely to God what we do with it. If that anger that burns within us ends up torturing those around us, it is not God's will. It's not pleasing. It's not a sacrifice God wants. But even more than that, we hear in Ephesians 4:26, Paul writes, be angry, but do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and do not make room for the devil. Because when we do that, when that fire comes within us, we are clear-cutting space for darkness to come in. Ambrose Bierce is one of my favorite writers. I don't know if any of you all are familiar with Ambrose Bierce. About 100 years ago, when he was on the scene, but he had this wonderful quote. He said, speak when you are angry, and you will make the best speech you will ever regret. Speak when you're angry, and you will just be so eloquent that you will hate yourself for it. You have heard it said, do not commit adultery, do not commit murder. do not commit adultery. This is the fussing part of it. You got the cussing, and now the fussing. And that's what I think I like best or recognize most about Joplin. If I don't know what I'm doing, odds are somebody else does. Doesn't matter where I'm going, where I've been. Folks will tell me things I did not know about me. I heard this and I heard that. The thing is, we've got great neighbors, but we also have good fences. Because at some point, what Jesus is talking about here is not just about adultery, it's about covetousness. Right? We hear in the 10th commandment, we hear in Exodus chapter 20, do not covet. And that really is looking over the fence at what your neighbor's yard looks like. It's looking at their pictures on Facebook and imagining their life and what they have is somehow better than yours and wanting that. And that's really what ultimately what adultery is. It is coveting someone else or coveting what is not yours. You've heard it said, do not commit adultery. But I tell you, if you give in to leering looks, if you want what is not yours, you have already done this. If you have to delete text messages, you have already done this. If you have to clear your browser, you've already done this. If you follow through, even have this intention of longing for something that is not yours, you are guilty of this. It's not just the act, it is so much more. But the Bible does what Jesus does, and even what Jesus is talking about this in Matthew 5 is not easy, it's not meant to be. But even when he's talking about these things, he's talking about a new kingdom, a better way to live that lifts up the dignity of the other. And he's talking the dignity of our spouse. And what was happening with this time is that the men who were in the power position were simply writing off a certificate of divorce and divorcing their wives for no cause, just to move on. Jesus was talking about how you think you're right with God, but this is clearly not right with God. Because God holds relationships, especially marriage, in the highest regards, and wandering eyes lead to wandering hands, and fidelity matters. So we have talking about the cussing, and we have the fussing, and finally a few swear words. We're not going to do George Carlin today, so I'm not worried about that. You have heard it said, do not swear falsely. Do not bear false witness. Do not lie. He says, don't swear by heaven because it's where God is. Don't swear by earth because it's God's footstool. Don't even swear by your head because you can't make anything on your head, your hair black or white. It basically says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. More than that is when you start giving long speeches, there's that idea that you're trying to justify yourself. That's the first sin, right, from the Garden of Eden, right after the eating of the forbidden fruit. When they're confronted, they start justifying themselves. And Adam says, the woman you gave me, the woman's fault, it's your fault. And the woman says, it is the serpent you created. We try to justify that. We give these great speeches. If you ever wonder about that, just start watching a press conference or a town hall meeting. Someone being asked a yes or no question, and then they go into a 4-paragraph answer. What God is saying, what Jesus is saying, live your life in such a way that when you say yes, people believe you. And when you say no, people know you're being truthful. Mark Twain once said, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember who told what to. It is simply the truth. And the truth, in this case, is not relative. Which brings us back to Paul. Beyond the cussing and the fussing and the cursing. Brings us back to Paul and says, why are you so worked up and why are you so involved in factionalism? Why do you keep these divisions chasing after them and these self-inflicted wounds? Ultimately, it feels like that's part of our nature. It's not part of our God nature. It's part of our sin nature. It's like the dog who's chasing the car, what's the dog going to do if it catches it? We keep chasing these things, and never catching them. We spend our time cussing and fussing and swearing. We demonstrate that our heart is not for God. It is a heart merely of the flesh. And we are at best babies in the faith, still needing milk after all of these years. And this is why we talk about having monuments in front of state capitol buildings or in front of the judiciary. But why can't we have the Ten Commandments etched in stone? Because that is the base work of our law, our legal system. And the Ten Commandments are good. But how much better would it be to have the Beatitudes in Matthew 5, 6, and 7, the Sermon on the Mount, out for us? Even more than that, we want public displays of realities we don't want in our hearts. How much more if we reject the monuments of stone, the hearts of stone, for the hearts of spirit that say, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be different, I'm going to follow up with what Jesus says, be something small like salt, and be something small like light. And then let that salt season, and let that light shine. How will the world know we are any different if we persist in these things? For too long, the church has thought the two alternatives were godlessness on one side or legalism on the other. Jesus says, you have heard it said, but I say to you. You have heard the scripture, you've heard the sermon. What does it mean